I turned my stallion into a gelding, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's get into it. So this is my new gelding, my former stallion, AP Beauregard, Beau for short. He is half Arabian, half Oldenburg. He's registered full Oldenburg with Oldenburg ISRNA and as half Arabian with the Arabian Horse Association. Now, this is a horse with absolutely fantastic lines. Not one person has ever told me to geld him. Not one. In fact, I actually had several people disappointed that I gelded him. And I've also had several people ask me why I gelded him. And I kind of want to go into that and explain it to everybody why I made that choice. It was a choice that actually took me a long time to make. It's also a choice that I knew since he landed onto the ground that it was a choice I might end up making one day. So although publicly it may look like it was just like an on-the-fly decision that I made, it isn't really an on-the-fly decision that I made. And one of the only reasons I even kept him intact was because at the time, his mom, who has such rare lines, had no other foals at that time. Now she has 3 fillies on the ground, 3 purebred Arabian fillies, which means lines from his mom's side, the Arabian side, will carry on if those fillies go into a breeding program. So there really wasn't a reason for me to keep him a stallion anymore. There are also other factors. I do board. I don't have my own place, so it's just easier to board a gelding than it is a stallion. It's also less expensive. There's less liability to it. And another thing is, like, when I really soul searched about it, and it took me a while to come to this conclusion, I thought, is there a little bit of ego involved at all? Like, I had to ask myself that question. Now that there's 3 fillies on the ground by his mom, why was I still keeping him a stallion? Like, was that something that was going to be beneficial to him? Or was that something that I was doing just out of my own, let me be honest, ego? And I felt like if there was even just a little bit of ego involved in that, that wasn't a good enough reason to make his life more difficult. Because life for stallions is more difficult. Even gelding him late like this, he may still retain some of his stallion behaviors. All stallions have some stallion behaviors. That's just the nature of it. But his life will still be easier as a gelding, even as a late cut gelding, than it would be as an intact stallion. So in the end, that's why I did it. It wasn't a rash decision. It's something that I've known from the very beginning. When he popped out of his mom, that was something that I might end up doing one day. I just didn't really talk about it a lot publicly because it's something that was very personal to me and a decision I needed to make on my own and be ready to make that decision on my own. And I didn't want a lot of outside, for lack of a better term, interference swaying me one way or the other. I just really needed to come to this kind of a decision in my own time, in my own way. And I do second guess myself about it. But I know in the end that I made the right decision for me and my horse. And I'm very happy to now have a gelding. So I hope that kind of explains how I came to my decision, why I came to my decision. And if anybody has any questions about my decision, they're welcome to ask them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any of those questions that anybody may have about my decision and the process I went through to make it.